Manj here. Thank you for tuning in. I had to come on live and do this because today's been so massive. It's been such a sort of a clearing of sorts from what feels like has been an absolute storm recently, and it's feeling like it's just settled. I want to tell you about today, which has to do with it's got to do with children, it's got to do with intuition, it's got to do with anorexia and bulimia. I'm going to cover those few different things, but they all kind of tie in, and there will be a purpose for this, and I'll get better at these videos again anyways. So let's start by this. So today was my last day at Atelier Les, which is a school that's based on being in the woods and doing things quite naturally, numerous ages in the school and in the classes. And I say it was my final day because I, having been there about 5 times now, just didn't get the sense for it. Something didn't resonate, and though I can't tell you what that is specifically, and I had to honor that. So right off the bat, this is tying into intuition and honoring my sort of gut feeling, especially sort of after last time when I was there. My body was already talking to me, saying, hey, something's not right. And I just, not that I ignored it, I still went for my 3 hours there, and nothing changed in terms of like my feeling towards continuing to be there. So now this has been a little bit of a pattern of late, or I should just say that for whatever reason, listening to my intuition has never been as strong as it is in these days, and so much so I was at the school today, and it was a great day with the kids. We spent 3 hours together. We were out in the woods. They played. I observed, and this is what I'm learning about myself, is that and what I can walk away with, having been there since September, plus 2 sessions before the summer. So being there, observing the kids, and then having a chat with one of the teachers afterwards, she said to me, would you consider, one of the mums asked if I would consider working privately with her child, on the basis around food. And I smiled and said thanks, but actually no, that's something that I had taken up in the last couple of weeks, I would say 3, and I've just in the past week and a half started saying no. And even one of the children I was working with, we had about 5 sessions. I just saw her for the last time on Sunday. Not the last time, but I just saw her on Sunday, and had to say exactly what I'm feeling. And obviously, it's not the child. It's not. It's got nothing to do with them, but it's totally me. It is that sort of, sorry, it's not you, it's me. And I did the same thing. I really excitedly, said yes to a couple of friends. Long story short, I've disappointed people saying yes, and then canceling and just saying no, I'm not supposed to work with that way. So when the question came at the school, would I be willing to work with kids privately, I said no and gave that example. And my general feeling, having spoken to the owner yesterday, we had such a beautiful meeting, and the founder of the school, the only word I can express, the only thing I can say is she's so heart-centered, she's on the ball, she's on the front lines of change, and and she and I are supposed to work together. So, but you know, having been at the school, all that was perfect. And you know, working individually with kids, all that has been perfect. None of it has been wrong, but it's all been for me to see, to perhaps come to exactly what I have today. And you know, going from the school, I went, jumped on the bus, and there was one of the mums there who I rode with a couple of weeks ago, and we had a brilliant conversation. And I just said, you know, she was unhappy that I'm not coming back, and I said, look, let's just leave it open that I'm not coming back today, because I know that I'm supposed to work with Alice, the founder, in some capacity and with children, but and what that is exactly at this time, I don't know. But you know, my memory takes me back to just being in Toronto a year ago, and having worked with children there, and my sister's kids and friends' kids, just being in the same space as them. And I think the thing that I'm walking away with today is that, like, so, you know, when I was with my sister, I spent 3 weeks at her place, and you know, was taking the kids to school and bringing them home and stuff like that. And it was a finite period of time. It was 3 weeks, after which, or during which time, I was learning the children more than I had ever had before. And this is the same thing that I've done now with these guys since the start of school. I've been learning them and observing them, really watching their mannerisms, their attitudes, the way that they speak, the way that they walk, the way that they interact, everything. And that's my job, is to be there and kind of see what's going on, and then walk away from it. And what I thought was a bad thing and really made me nervous last week, and oh my God, how am I going to tell Alice, and how you know, hard on myself about it, like, how can I do this, just turn around and say no? But the deepest part of me, and you know, I am sorry to those people, to everybody I've turned around and said no to, but look, we have to follow. It's our duty to follow our intuition. Yes, I jump on the gun quickly. I know I do that. Getting better at not doing that and just listening to my voice. I want to do everything. I want to work with everybody's kids. I want to, you know, I do. I love children, but that's not where I'm supposed to be. So I'm realizing. And there's lots of things that are coming my way about this. Yeah, I mean, kids, and the conversation I was having with one of the moms on the bus was about, like, how we call our kids the next generation, and this is kind of skipping ahead to another topic, but then we want them to be like us. It's like blasphemy for me, like, you know, we call them the next generation. They're born, they're beautiful, and the next generation, they're going to change the world, whatever. And then we make them like us. We shape them into what we are, or what we become. And like I mean, that is the definition of insanity, I think. There's many definitions, I suppose, but that's just one of them. You know, calling them the next generation and then forcing them to be like us and go to school and get a job and do this and do that and whatever. And this is going to expand much more, I think, in another video. But it's an important conversation, because the kids that are coming in today, and this is what I noticed, and I think this is the strongest point that I have about this topic, and what I noticed in Toronto, in London, in Canada, was that kids of today, and here, of course, kids of today are really standing up and saying, no, fuck you, I won't do it your way. And I'm experiencing that. I'm seeing that on a regular basis through the other school, the nursery, you know, and the last thing we want to do is stop them. The last thing we want to do is stop them from being who they are. We came here on purpose, for purpose, to change the world, as our parents said, right? Like, they're the next generation, and then we experience the conditioning and programming of everywhere and everyone and everything. So here we are today. And I, ooh, you see those kids, especially the ones, the talkers, the ones that are not conforming, the ones that are not behaving, those guys are the ones that are speaking the loudest. They're the ones that are speaking the loudest, and they're the ones that I tune into, because they're the big change makers. And look, like all children are, I think, to an extent, and when we hit the age of 5, 6, they just start to conform, and it's happening that early. I've worked in schools in Austria. I've worked with children between the ages of 8, or the youngest ones are 2.5, and the little ones are really between 2.5 and 5 over here at the nursery. They're wonderful, and they're easily, like, you can, me being at the school, I like to, let me put it this way, and bear with me, that what I like to do, or the way that I like to work, is to see the light in all children, whether they be slow or like crying all the time or whatever it is. They are the spark of consciousness, God, spirit, whatever you want to call it, just like us, right? Or we are just like them, I should say. And yeah, the younger ones are obviously more freshly, they're still connected. And I was saying is, you know, they still are until about 6, 7, but then that starts to change. And I've seen 8-year-olds who have like lost their imagination. You know, it's gone. It's not gone, but already the programming is there, the conforming is there. The drive that they came in with, or the you know, that purpose that they came in with, is long forgotten, long gone. And ooh, dare I say, vaccinated out of them. I just did say that. In any case, going, so I was talking to this wonderful mother on the bus, and I was saying how vital it is that we listen to our intuition. And I gave the example of not going back to the school in the same capacity, at least. I don't know what's going to happen, and that's okay. I totally honor that. But the most important thing for me is having first honored my feelings, right? Because it's, and I said to her, it's like, you know, parents in a hateful situation with each other, and they're sort of dragging along their partnership because of the children who are really truly suffering, because children aren't stupid, and it's not on this sort of like they see things, whatever, it's they sense it, they sense the vibe, literally the vibe, the vibrations of what's going on between the parents. So, I mean, not that parents need to divorce, it's not what I'm saying, but at least take some time away from one another to figure things out. Because to stay together for the benefit of the children when you hate each other, all under the same roof, is not doing the kids any good. And that's how I described being in the school. It was not against anybody, but it was a situation of like, I don't feel good in myself. So, you know, if I continue to lie to myself and go there, or lie to the rest of the people, that vibe pushes through, and it's just not going to be good. So now I've honored it. Alice and I have had a beautiful conversation. Such a wonderful being, and we just keep the airwaves open. I love that. You know, people ask me what I do, and I say, well, I do my best. And I know that's not an answer for everybody. And also further to that, I say, well, I do everything that I love. So if I don't love it, I'm not doing it. And sometimes I get it wrong, you know, like saying yes to my friends, and yeah, I'll come and bake and with your kids, and I don't. Yeah. Sometimes I jump the gun, as I said. In any case, that happens, and it's practice. It's practice. Listening to your intuition, following your inner guidance is not happening overnight. Mind you, in this current energetics stage, I think people are being pinged with it much faster than we have before. So if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, you're supposed to, and it's resonating with you on some level. So yeah, just honor you, right? So from here, I want to jump to, so we're having this beautiful conversation on the bus, myself and this lovely mum, and we're standing up because the bus is packed and everyone's listening. I can sense that to our conversation, and mum got off the bus. I sat down to a really lovely, lovely, lovely young girl named Lucy, who's 19 years old, and we jumped onto the topic of anorexia and bulimia, or anorexia, because this is, I love talking to young people. This is one of my favorite things on earth. I feel like I was born at the wrong time. Actually, nothing's wrong. Either I should have been a hippie or a millennial, but hey, yeah, I just feel like I resonate with younger people more. In any case, Lucy and I jumped onto anorexia with her because I had this conversation recently with friends, and I've been meaning to make a video about it. So I think this is the opening way for that conversation. And I asked her what her, if it's a topic that's still a big deal within her sort of radius, within her group of friends, or at the school that she's at, and funnily enough, no such thing as coincidences, right? She had just done a presentation about anorexia at school. So, and I asked her what her greatest takeaway was, which I thought to be really interesting because I'd never thought about it this way. And her greatest takeaway was that anorexia is not just, we stereotype against just skinny, stick thin, sort of bony people, but anorexia hits everybody across all ages, shapes, sizes, whatever you name it. So, you know, stereotypically, yes, we think, oh my God, she's really thin, she must be anorexic, or he, whatever. And so that was her greatest takeaway, and then we got into a conversation about it, of course, and this is definitely a precursor to another video, perhaps even this evening, after I eat. And I said, well, you know, food in and of itself is one of the greatest, I'm going to call it an issue in quotes, one of the greatest issues in the world that hits so many people because there's so much programming, conditioning, there's so much behind it that it begs to be a conversation. It begs to be opened up. I mean, there was Michael Pollan who wrote the book In Defense of Food, and I think, that inspired me a lot in the time when I did my TED speech back in 2012, I think. My ideas have changed a lot about food since then, but the basis is still the same, and that is that the onus is on us to know ourselves. So I think I'm gonna finish off here and say that yeah, the conditioning, the programming from everywhere, right? From parents, from schools and teachers, and of course media, advertising. You know, the food. What is it? Food pyramid. I mean, look, honestly, after going through many years of food is the enemy and whatever, it's still a fine balance because of the programming conditioning. I can't even say to you guys that you know, I've got it, I'm on it. And I used to say that all the time, right? I know the answer. I don't know the answer, but I know that a higher part of me knows the answer, and the best I can do is honor that, eat when I'm hungry, and like I was saying to Lucy, sometimes I still like eat because I'm nervous. I don't need to eat. I'm not hungry, but like I'll absolutely stuff my face because I'm nervous, and I recognize that. I do recognize it. So it's for me, it's almost okay because I'm so conscious about it, and even that, just being so uber aware and conscious, even that is dissipating now. So now it's yeah, it's better, but it's not a problem. So yeah, that. Hey, welcome to my page. I'm back. So yeah, I'm gonna cut it here. Lots of different topics and conversations to be had from this very one. So I thank you for watching. I'm actually going to put this video up online. Not be scared to do so, and you'll see me back shortly. So until then, I think that the greatest takeaways from this video are, well, there's one, and that's just honoring your gut feeling. And look, at this time in our reality, in our existence, it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. As I was saying to the mom, when you're not honoring your intuition, and when you're not honoring your intuition, your body's going to take over. So when you're not honoring your body, you're going to get sick, your joints are going to hurt, your body's literally knocking on your mind saying, hey, 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 you need to listen to me now. And when you don't honor the sort of surface level little pains, they're going to turn into chronic and acute stuff. Okay, so that's all. Honor you. All right. I know, and it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's a practice, and it gets easier. This is now the time to do it. Oh, one more thing. I have to say this. Having said that this is the time to do it, it is a time of massive energetic shift. A lot of things going on in the world. Small pockets of examples, like my own saying no, despite hurting people's feelings, had to happen in the past 2 weeks. And my friend on the bus was telling me how her friend's daughter signed a petition with a whole bunch of people against a teacher at their school today. So there's a big meeting about that. And I said, you see, that's just an example of what's going on in the large scale, on the larger scale with the entire world. See, there's revolutions going on everywhere. It's happening now. So tune in, wake up, expand your thinking. Let's go. It's time. That's all. God bless you. Thank you for watching. And next time, see you next time.